You know, if you've ever walked through the personal finance section of a bookstore, you have absolutely seen this cover. Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't just some book, it's a full-blown phenomenon. We're talking tens of millions of copies sold, all because it promised to completely change the way people think about money.
But here's the thing. It's also one of the most controversial finance books ever written. Seriously. People either swear by it and say it changed their lives, or they just dismiss it completely. So what is the deal? Well, today we're going to break it all down. The core ideas, the hype, and the reality behind this financial juggernaut.
Okay, so the book's entire foundation, everything is built on, rests on this one simple but really powerful story. It's the tale of the author, Robert Kiyosaki, and these two competing father figures who gave him completely opposite advice about money, work, and life.
So on one side, you've got his poor dad. That was his actual biological father, a super educated guy with a pretty traditional mindset, you know? Get good grades, go to a good school, find a safe, secure job with benefits. Then on the other side, you have his rich dad. This was his best friend's father. He was an entrepreneur, an investor, and he taught Kiyosaki what he called the unwritten rules of building wealth. And this clash in philosophy, well, that's the engine for every single lesson in the book.
So what exactly were these radical, game-changing lessons from Rich Dad? Well, they all kind of boil down to a few core ideas that just flew in the face of the safe, conventional wisdom his poor dad lived by.
There are really four big pillars to this mindset. First, stop working for money and start making your money work for you. Second, you got to realize that real financial education, it's not something they teach in school. Third, and this is a huge one, you have to understand the dead simple difference between an asset and a liability. And finally, you have to adopt a mindset of possibility instead of scarcity.
And this next idea is so powerful because of how simple it is. I mean, forget all the complex accounting definitions you've heard. Kiyosaki breaks it down like this. An asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. And when you look at it that way, well, that house or car you own might not be the asset you've been told it is.
So the crucial point is this. According to the book, the fundamental difference between the rich and pretty much everyone else is what they spend their money on. See, the wealthy focus their energy on buying income-generating assets. Meanwhile, the poor and middle class often get trapped buying liabilities, things that drain their wealth over time that they think are assets.
This one quote right here really captures the entire mindset shift at the heart of the book. Think about it. Saying I can't afford it is a statement that just shuts your brain down. It's the end of the line. But asking, how can I afford it? Well, that's a question. It forces your brain to open up, to look for possibilities and creative solutions.
Now, these ideas are undeniably powerful. They get you fired up. But this is also where the controversy really starts to creep in. So let's dig into the hype and see how the book's advice actually holds up in the real world.
Okay, so the book's greatest strength is that it's just so easy to read and it's incredibly motivating. It's not some dry textbook, right? It's designed to light a fire under you and make you seriously question the whole 9-to-5 grind. But on the flip side, it's really light on the actual practical how-to steps. The stories can feel a little too perfect, and frankly, some of the specific advice is a product of its time.
And that brings us to the main criticisms. A lot of people point out that it's more of an inspirational self-help book than a real finance guide. There's also this long-running debate about whether Rich Dad was even a real person or just a clever story to make a point. And maybe most importantly, a lot of the specific advice, especially about real estate, is based on the market of the 1990s, which is, well, it's not today's market.
So, after weighing all the inspiration against all the criticism, what's the final verdict here? Is this book actually worth your time? Here's the bottom line. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is an amazing book for changing your perspective. It's a fantastic starting point if you're new to personal finance and you need that initial spark. Its real value is in flipping that switch in your brain about how money really works. But you absolutely should not treat it as a step-by-step financial plan.
And for that very reason, our source material gives it a solid 4 out of 5. Look, it's not a perfect guide, and it's definitely not going to make you a millionaire overnight. But as a tool for pure inspiration and for getting that foundational mindset shift, it's still one of the most effective books you can read.
And ultimately, the book leaves you with one simple but incredibly powerful question to think about in your own life. It really cuts to the core of the whole Rich Dad philosophy. After all your bills are paid, is your money actively working to build your wealth? Or are you just working for it? Just trading your time for a paycheck to get by? It's a question worth thinking about.